That's a good question. The way India is progressing, I believe it's a very structured manner. It is still slow, and maybe in some cases agonizingly slow. But if you really look at it, right from the Prime Minister's declaration that we are going to be net zero by 2070. So we have an objective, we have a target, and if you work backwards, starting right from what SEBI is doing, mandating ESG reporting, the whole objective of doing the mandation of the reporting is to kickstart sustainability practice within these organizations. So today it is mandating, tomorrow it will be impact measurements, and all of this is one such step towards a larger goal of net zero. So if you really look at it, all the government agencies, look at what Niti Aayog is doing. The ESG ratings that it gives to various states and the various parameters that they are measuring on. And it's a different line of governance that is actually pushing for ESG from a different angle. We are talking states, we are not talking businesses here. So if you really look at it, regulators and the government of the day, it starts with them, are actually doing a good job when it is trying to structure and energize sustainability practice into our lives through various departments and various arms of the government. But more importantly, for companies, it is a thought of, well-structured process. So today we have mandation of 1,000 companies. That is going to increase now. Eventually, the BRSR report, we now have BRSR core, that is further going to get into impact assessments as well. And if these companies can start not just reporting, but also performing on the impact of the sustainability practice, environment, social and governance automatically get impacted. And these are certain important steps that they are taking. All right, the startup ecosystem needs greater corporate governance for a simple reason. One, corporate governance right now is the major focus for listed companies. There are a large number of companies outside this ambit. Second, the startup ecosystem is the second biggest employer of the new generation workforce. And it is this generation workforce that is going to trigger demand, eventually impact the economy overall. So if we are not focusing on putting in good governance at this level itself, right at the time of startups, do not expect that when they grow bigger, their corporate governance is going to improve all of a sudden. It may not actually have significant impact. Now, it is easier to change, it is easier to imbibe the idea when the organization is smaller as compared to bigger. Because it is not mandated and there are no incentives around it, most of the entrepreneurs prefer to ignore it. Especially when it comes, when the startup ecosystem or the startup company are funded with specific interests. So you have a VC who's got a specific objective of revenue target, which is not wrong, but just that he's one of the stakeholders and he's going to exit with a certain margin. And that's what he's working towards. So he may not prioritize corporate governance. But when the organization is large and it fails on corporate governance, and we have seen adequate number of cases even now where startup companies which has made it big has failed on corporate governance, just impacting the organization. And it's not very difficult to do that. Like for example, for a startup company or for a company reaching a particular level, let's say if any company wants to take on a corporate loan, a business loan of more than 100 crores, if it's part of the condition where you make them submit a sustainability report, and banks can really enable this, and you can imagine the reach that our banking system has in our economy, the kind of change that we'll be able to bring in. Just one small step can actually make a lot of impact. So yes, there is a serious need for a planned, structured intervention on corporate governance.